Welcome everyone, and this is today the third session around VMware Cloud Foundation. And today I am with my colleague José Cavalheri, who is an automation consultant at ITQ, and we will deep dive into how vRealize automation will help you transform Cloud Foundation into a hybrid cloud.
Hello, Thomas. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so first, José, is it complex to deploy vRealize automation within VCF?
Definitely not, Thomas. So I would like to start to add a little bit extra box here, where we will start with a Lifecycle Manager.
Okay. Do we have to deploy it manually?
No. So basically, Lifecycle Manager comes together with when you deploy SDDC Manager. So it's part of the bundle.
And is it the same lifecycle management that does SDDC itself, the VCF environment?
The Lifecycle Manager from SDDC is responsible to do the Lifecycle Manager of the infrastructure like ASXi or vSun. This Lifecycle Manager is specifically for vRealize product suite. So I'm talking about VROps or VRA or others.
Okay, nice.
Okay. So as you ask me, is it easy to deploy, right? So we always start from the beginning, which is LCM. And LCM is responsible to deploy our Workspace ONE, okay, and our VRA. As we are talking about VCF infrastructure, all of them becomes in a cluster scenario, okay? So to make sure that we have no single point of failure within the product itself.
So it's a validated design.
It's a validated design, and before I forget, in order to make everything available, you need to make sure that you have a load balancer within those products.
That's a lot of components. It doesn't take too much time to deploy them, configure them?
That's the best part of VCF, right? So when we are deploying Workspace ONE and vRealize automation via LCM, LCM has a direct connection to our SDDC. So in that case, Lifecycle Manager will request SDDC, which will request our NSX Manager, and they will do automatically the load balancer for us. So all the configuration that you need for deploying Workspace ONE and vRealize automation, SDDC Manager will ask NSX Manager to create all the load balancers within the configuration for us. So in that case, the only thing you need to do is click Next.
So even I could do it?
Even you could do it, Thomas.
Nice.
Okay, so now that we have deployed vRealize automation in a redundant way, very high available, right? It's very important to remember that we need to deploy in a cross-region section, okay? In case you have a site failover, the Workspace ONE and vRealize automation needs to be available on cross-site. So fully high available, okay? If you ask me, José, why do you prefer having vRealize automation deployed in combination with VCF? The first thing I would like to mention is that when we start with the cloud zones, okay? So this is a configuration in vRealize automation where you need to point to your infrastructure resources. So in that case...
So that is destination.
Exactly. So as you can see, we have already our private cloud ready to receive. So I'm going to use, in this case,
the
workload domain to host my VMs.
But is it the only target that we could have?
No. So vRealize automation is a fully multi-cloud. So I'm talking about a private cloud within VCF, but I also can use for public clouds, for example, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud.
Okay, nice. That's why it's hybrid.
That's why it's hybrid, multi-cloud aware, and ready for the future.
Okay.
Yes.
Then, once we have the cloud zones, what do we need next?
Okay, so now that we are starting to go more into the vRealize scenario, right, as we already have the VCF integration to host our VMs, we need to go a little bit, and that's the second part why VCF is important for me. As VCF prepared the entire infrastructure within a single deployment, and also the cloud zone is prepared for us, we have more time for integrations.
Okay.
So it means I will have more time to do EPAM integration, a CMDB, an Ansible, or also, very important to remind, is about vRealize Orchestrator. In that case, it will allow us anything as a service. So anything that I can talk to via API will allow me to do extra services within automation.
So in summary, the integrations allow us to expand the capabilities of the array outside of
Correct. So it's unlimited integration as long as you can talk to. Right?
Okay.
And that helps us a lot to have more time for our next part, which is our cloud templates. So before we used to call blueprints, okay? Now with the vRealize Automation 8, we changed to the name to cloud templates.
Can you give us an example of what is a cloud template? What does it do?
Yes, so I will refer to the previous lightboard session where Arnaud talked more about the NSX, and I'm going to give an example how cloud templates will help us. So cloud template is the boundaries, how you define the kind of service you want to provide. So in that case, I will give an example like I would like to deploy a VM, okay? So in my template, I'm going to say I want a VM and I want that VM to be linked to a network section, okay? But as you can see, we start to grow from a VM scenario, and that VM can be also a 3-tier app, for example. So I would say here would be my app, and here would be my DB, for example, okay? So in this case, we have already an example of a 3-tier app using micro-segmentation, or at least segmentation. And in a web scenario, we also could implement, for example, a load balancer. Remember from our previous lightboard where we can integrate NSX with load balancers, micro-segmentation, halting, indeed. So things like that within vRealize Automation in combination with VCF and NSX, we can have our full picture like we had in our previous lightboard, fully automated.
Okay, but I can imagine that I need to be a VRA expert to use it because it's a lot of components to configure and to create a cloud template. So is it available for everyone to use, or do we need to be?
We have the infra piece, and then the last piece of the puzzle is the user portal.
Okay.
So on user portal is where we define the service to be available for our end users.
So it will allow self-servicing.
Exactly. It's a self-service portal where we will define, for example, I would like to make available a VM request, or I would like to make available my application for the end users, or it can be even more than that, right? But that's where a normal user would be consuming all the services, with the underlying would be this for us.
Okay, so I could use that user portal and deploy my own application that is available in the catalog in the production.
Correct. You can define which segment would you like to go, or you can predefine that via infrastructure.
And if I don't need it anymore?
Then we start to go more to the policies around, right?
Okay.
So the first objective is to having a self-service portal for the users to request. And that let's call that we have our day 0, okay? Where we request new services.
Okay.
The second part of it is where we can request our day 2 operations. For example, I would like that application to be increased or decreased. I would like to have a snapshot, or I would like to do...
I need more CPU,
power on,
more memory.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the other part of it is where we close with the policies, okay?
Okay.
So the policy could be, this user has only access to this application. The other user would like to have an approval flow for it. So then we can start define several types of policies that users are allowed. In that case, is missing, of course, that I explain a little bit more about the workspace 1. So as we talked so far, we talked about specifically vRealize Automation.
Indeed.
The last piece of the puzzle is workspace 1, which is responsible for authentication. So in that case, we will integrate with your own Active Directory, and then we will use LDAP groups in order to define who user is administrator or who user can access a specific application or catalog.
Okay. So everything is managed through Workspace ONE Access. We use your own credentials to log in the user portal, and depending on the right that has been defined, you will be able to deploy some part or all different components from the array.
Correct.
That's nice. Thank you, everyone. I think now we have a clear vision of how VRA helps transform Cloud Foundation into a true hybrid cloud. And just don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow the next session that will be around monitoring and control within Cloud Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you for watching.
If you like our videos, and we obviously hope you do, then please subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button and be the first to hear about all our new innovative awesomeness videos that we're releasing on this channel. We'll hope to see you soon.